Hello, today I will show you the Oracle process automation capabilities specifically focused on the dynamic process, the so-called case management processes. And so I will use the material of the LiveLab, which is called Get Started with the Process Automation. And so we will use the material which is referring to Lab 3, which is focused on the dynamic processes. And so now we can go into the Oracle Process Automation console, and this is the designer console, and we see that there are different process applications. A process application is a container which is which is containing all the items which are needed for the design of the complete business process and for the execution of it. So now we will go into the car rental application. And we see that it is made of a dynamic process, which is the car rental process, of a structured process, a BPMN process, which is called car transfer process. So there are different forms used for the interaction of the users during the execution of the dynamic process or structured process, and also there are some roles which are defined for the execution of the human task activities, both on the dynamic and the structured process. And just to go on the users, I am using my user in order to run this demo. This is a choice I have made, but usually on the real process that you will define, you will assign these roles to groups, and these groups are usually mapped to the identity management group that in these groups for the identity management, that in this case is based on the identity domain for the tenancy of the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, which is related to this specific Oracle Process Automation instance. And then I will show you now the car rental process, which is a dynamic process, as we said. So the dynamic or case management process is made of a specific set of stages. Here we see we have a booking stage, a pickup stage, a return stage. So the transition from one stage to the other is based on events. And you see here the start button, which is saying when this stage will start. It will start when the previous stage is completed. This happens for the pickup stage and happens also for the return stage. In each stage, there are one or more activities. An activity can be a human task activity, can be a process, can be a milestone in this case, in the case of the pickup and the return stage. So for the booking, we have a human activity, which is the verification of the booking by a user. On the pickup, we have a human task activity, which is done by the operator who is receiving the customer and handling the information before giving the car. And so there is a ready for customer milestone, which is reached when the customer desk activity is complete. Also, there is an initiate car transfer structure process, which is started in case there is need for this car transfer. And the need for this car transfer happens when the from zip and to zip for the information provided for this booking are not the same. And also when the pickup stage is finished, then the return stage is activated. And so it will then, when the customer will give back the car to the car rental office, then this activity will be triggered by the car rental operator, which is the handle the return of the car. And when this activity is completed, we see that the ready condition is when the handle return of the car is completed, then the car is ready for rental. And let's see also how this human activity is defined. by its properties. So we can say if it is required, if it is repeatable, if it is manually activated or automatically activated, to which role it is assigned. In this case, it is assigned to the rental car office role, which is the title, which is the UI, which is used for this user to provide the information to the human task activity, which view of this user interface, which data is bound to this human task activity, and also the actions. Whenever this activity is executed, the user can decide to complete the activity or to make an action, to select an action which is service, which means that the car needs some kind of service after the return. Also, we see here on the dynamic process definition that there is something like a global stage, which is handling global activities. In example, there is a global activity which is update booking information, which is triggered, which is enabled and is manually activated whenever there is the pickup, so the booking has been created. And so this is the possibility to update this information by the user, which is managing the information got from the customer. Also, there is another human task, which is the report incident, which is enabled, is again another human task which is enabled when the car pickup activity has been created. And also there is a global milestone, which is car pickup, which is reached when the pickup condition has been done, so when the booking is completed. So this is the overall shape of the dynamic process. We can also define which are the conditions and the ways to start the process. And specifically, in this case, any user with the use or manage permission can start this process. And this process is started with a form, with this kind of view. And so this is the data which is bound to this form when used. And also it is useful to also explain the car transfer process in case this is triggered. So it starts, so it is reviewed and approved, and in case the approval is not reached, there is a notification to the rental office of the car return. So now we have the overall idea. We had the overview of this car rental process. Now what we can do, we can start it. In order to start it, we can see which versions are activated. In this case, we have just activated the version before this demo, version 1 of this dynamic process, but we can have multiple versions available. And we can then test in the workspace. The workspace is another place of the process automation console. I just duplicate the workspace because I want to act as an operator of the process, administrator of the process, and a user of the process. So here what I can see as a user of the process here, I see that I'm enabled to run different kind of processes because I'm just enabled to do it. The different colors means in this case this one is a structured process. For this kind of blue color, we have the dynamic processes. In this case, we want to run exactly this process, and in this process, I will provide my personal information. The pickup date could be, I don't know, Friday, next Friday, and the return day will be next Saturday, and I will maintain all the other information, so the from zip, the to zip, and so on, which are different, so that we can also trigger the structured process, as we have seen, so the car transfer process, and we can submit it. So now what I can see here as a user, as a process user, I can see if there is a task assigned to me. Yes, exactly. The process has been issued at 3:05 p.m. And I see that for me now there is a verified booking process, because now I'm acting as the car rental office operator. And let's see also from the global view, which is the tracking of the process. This is a view which is available for an administrator or a process monitor. And so we see that the process started, this car rental process started exactly at 3:05. And here we have a very different view, because we see the milestone stages in which the process is progressing. So we see that now we are in the stage which is the booking stage, and we see the different activities. We see that the verified booking activity is enabled, and we have seen that this is enabled as a task for the user. And there are other activities, which are the global activities, that could be enabled in case of need. And this could be enabled by the user itself, by an operator. It depends on the way we want to go. So now that we have this available, we see that there is also a fine-grained audit. So we had the booking and the verified booking activity here. There are no comments so far, no documents so far. There are some data because there are some data which have already been provided for the process, and so there are some other information like the status, the instance ID, which is a unique ID for the process, the name of the process, and the creation date. So let's go back as a user, so the car rental office user, and here we see that I can do the verify booking task. So I can verify whatever is here. Let's say that it is verified in my case, and we can also attach a document like, I don't know, an internal document which is saying something about the verification I would like to do. And the internal document in this case is this document one, just to make an example. So what I'm doing, I'm just interacting with the human task activity, providing some information which is tracked into this specific process. And so we see here that we have everything, we have the history of the execution and so on, and we can click the submit button. So it is saying that the comments will be notified, will be posted with this action, and so this is okay for me. Okay, let's go back on this tracking then, and let's see what happened here. And if I close this one and I go back on the tracking, I see that now the booking stage is completed, and now we have passed into the pickup stage. And so if we go into the activities, we see that, okay, the verified booking is completed. Again, the update booking information and report incident are still there, available to be enabled. And now we are running on the customer desk activity. So where you see, this is what is assigned to me. And also there is an initiate car transfer to other station due to the from zip to zip, which are different one to each other. So this is the data-driven event, which has triggered this structured process then. And then what we can do now, we can act as a user. And now here, acting as a user, just refreshing the page, we see what is assigned here, and there are two activities. One is the car transfer process, and we can decide to act as the user who is managing the car transfer process. I can add a comment, okay, for car transfer, an example. And we can just approve this one. Yeah, we can post it, and we can just approve this one. And then here we can act. We see that there are other activities for other instances of the same of other processes as normal in a process automation engine and in the task list of a process automation engine. And here we see that we are asked also to provide some information for the customer desk because we are in the pickup stage. And so here, first of all, I can maintain this one. We can see which is the progress here of the car rental process, and we see that the progress is that this one is being completed as before, and now we are working on the customer desk. So I go back on the customer desk, I can review this information, and I can just track something like a customer deck. Okay, and then I can go on, and then I can approve this task. And then if I go back on the process tracking, I can go here and I can see that my pickup stage has been completed. You see here the progress of the of my case management process. So from start to car pickup to ready for customer, and to now we are now going to the in progress, to the return stage, which is in progress. And so we can have the view of the activities. So the customer desk is completed, the initiate car transfer to other station is completed, and this end of return of the car is running. And again, if we want, we have the possibility to see, start this update booking information and report incident. Also, what we see all the comments provided by in the different stages. So verified, okay, car transfer, customer deck, okay, and so on. We see all the documents that have been provided. In this case, I have provided only one document, but I would have seen all the document provided for this instance, which is this one, exactly this instance ID of this case management or dynamic process. And I can close this tracking here, and I can then go act as a user again, and then here I'm asked to provide some information about the return of the car. We can assume everything is complete, there is no need for service, there is no report damage, and so on. And so providing everything is okay on return. And so if we want, we can provide some documents about the return, and it's something we can really do. Yeah, we can provide an example here, document 2, and we can then emulating the fact that we are getting a document out of the return of this car. And so we have the history of everything of this task, and so this is again the detail of my instance. And so I can complete this one. And so if I go in the process tracking here, I see that my process now should be completed, and is here the process created on 308, and so there are no other activities, and so this is exactly the process that has been completed. Let me just see. Okay. This was the car transfer process, which was completed, and this is the dynamic process, which is completed. And we see all the activities that we have performed, and now there are no more open activities, which were the optional activities to be run. And here is the audit of the process, all the different comments that we have provided on the process. Everything is okay on return is the last comment, the document that we have attached to the process. So we have seen everything about this dynamic process. I hope this was interesting for this audience. And so we have done, and thank you so much for your attention.